What is up, my reselling family, friends and foes alike? I hope you're having a great day. It is gorgeous and hot here in the south. I know that's a real shocker since it's August and summer in the south. But anyhow, I am headed up. I just got done shipping at the post office. I hope they scan these in. When I bring them to the back dock, it is a crapshoot. I called up there, a couple weeks ago, trying to figure out what the deal is. And they told me, they scan one part of the day and then they just scan a few. I don't know. They get scanned when they get to Nashville. So I don't know if I don't get them scanned in today and they got scanned in tomorrow and they were supposed to be today via eBay or whatever. I don't know if that, when they end up scanning them in, if it corrects that. Probably not. But I really don't like that. I'm going to have to schedule a pickup. I've said this before, but let's just belabor the point so I can remind myself. That is glass, folks. Well, pottery. I call everything breakable glass, by the way. And I am becoming more and more of a glass guy. As I've said, I've done a few buys. I went to a great yard sale Friday, picked up some uranium glass, some milk glass, some depression glass. Great prices. I forgot to buy a vase that I knew glue or glowed, and I didn't go back, or I assumed it did. And then I had somebody screenshot it and say, that thing looks like it glows. I went back yesterday, which is Sunday, and it was gone, of course. But the woman there said, did you get my message Saturday? And I said, no. She sent, I Venmo'd her on Friday, so she went on Venmo, messaged me, come on back, I've cleaned out my curio cabinet and I'll give you a good deal. And I missed that. So yesterday I get there, there's still some glass there. I got a milk glass, what is it, a Hornig milk glass, looks like an oil lamp, but it plugs in. And she said everything on that table is free. And there was some pretty good stuff. Nothing off the charts, but a lot of $25 items, a lot of them. And so I picked up a ton. Quite a few $15, $17 items, but for free I was going to get it. So filled my truck, got some pottery, and she also said that everything else is half off. Well, I told her, I said, look, I'm going to give you some money for that glass, a little anyway. So I added up. So she had this. This is a Friesland from Germany. Look at the condition. Shaped, I call it a bullet, but on eBay I listed it as an arrowhead. Considered keeping it for us, a great casserole dish, like brand new. Made in Germany, Friesland, and there wasn't a ton of them to comp, so I think I kind of sold them a little cheap, 37 bucks or something. Another piece, nice casserole dish with the roosters, kind of not embroidered, but with it embossed. But look at the condition, like new. I've listed those, but don't sell them. We'll use them. I'm so bummed out. This is me. I had I can't remember, Emily Hume, maybe? I don't remember the last name. But she's highly sought after. It was a chili bowl, like an 11-inch stoneware with blue glazing, nice chili pot. No lid, but man, I was going to keep it. I listed it, and then, we'd use it for chili and stuff. It would have been awesome for chili. And last night I was listing, and I knew it was kind of balancing on a box. And this morning as I go to ship, I pulled, like Jenga, I pulled something out of the bottom. It fell over, busted in half. So it goes back to my contracting days. Us contractors joke, or at least me and my friends do, that if you're leaving the house and you see something and just kind of dawns on you, maybe I should take that. And you're like, no, I don't need it. Sort of like your sunglasses. Cloudy, rainy day, and you leave them, and then the sun comes out. If you leave a tool, you'll need it. If you see something, that could break later. And I remember last night seeing it, and I'm like, lazy, and then I end up breaking it. Now, luckily, I only paid like $2 for it, but that was a $37 dish, and there was no comps on those. Could have been higher, so I busted that in half. Bummed out. It would have been great for us, especially with the fall coming up. You know, Saturdays, go blue. That's a side note, but huge Michigan fan. Wolverine, grew up 12 miles from the stadium, so don't at me. But anyways, I was going to talk to you about live selling. I haven't been doing a ton. I got on District and did a show on the lost toys. Shout out Hamco Finds. They had kind of reached out to me, and ironically I kind of reached out to them like simultaneously, not knowing. And I did a show over there and did okay. Wasn't excellent, but it's that time of year. You know, again, I can blame my inventory. I had a bunch of DC 12-inch figures. I had, trying to even remember all I had. Some Minecraft figures, actual toys. So that was good. I haven't done a Whatnot, but I got some inventory this weekend for Whatnot. I got a lot of video games, and I got some graphic novel books on CD. They're like 5 discs, and they're all fantasy, so they should go good. All of them comp at like $27, $28. There's some like $16, but I'm probably going to sell those to do kind of a media show. Maybe that'll work together on Whatnot. I was approved finally on TikTok, so I can go live on TikTok. My Amazon went through. I am going to be putting some stuff on Amazon and Etsy. That was my goal last week. I did not get that accomplished, but I am definitely going to reach out. My eBay store just gets better and better. I keep listing. I keep getting sales. I keep doing pretty good shipping. So actually, I do really good shipping. It's just one out of, every couple dozen. Did find a hat last night looking for an order. I thought I lost it, thought I sold it live. I even said in a video, make sure you delist. I did not sell the hat live. It was a vintage starter Atlanta Falcons hat, and I thought I sold it. It was international shipping, and I have not received items, so it's been just sitting there. Well, I found the hat, got it shipped out. It's been a couple weeks, and I'm just glad to get it out. I want people's items to get there. Always do the right thing, all that stuff. You want to run a good business. I mean, there's no reason not to try your best to be perfect. If you can, if you aim it perfect and you barely miss the mark, you're doing pretty good. But if you aim it barely getting by and you miss the mark, then you suck. So let's all try to aim high, little buddy. It reminds me, when I was a carpenter learning framing in Michigan, we had this guy, he was in the Air Force, old Dano, and he had the worst man bun on the earth, by the way. But he'd always say, "Hey, my little buddy." So shout out to Dano. But anyways, I'm trying not to say too. I'll watch my videos back and stuff, and I almost said it again. It's a habit that's bad vocabulary. So, that being said, live selling. Okay. If you're going to live sell, and I've mentioned this before, on Whatnot, you've got to prepare, and that's what I'm going to do. I loathe it, but it actually helps you in the long run. There's a saying that failing to plan is planning to fail, and that makes sense in this instance, because if you pre-plan, one, you'll have a static listing up there that you can use in your inventory and bring it up whenever you want. 2, you'll have a picture of the item, a complete description, so you don't get lost during the show, forget the name of something, which I can do, especially with stuff I'm not super familiar with, like even these graphic novels. I don't know these authors or the titles to these, so live I'd have to read it, where if I had the picture, it will come up on your screen. That seems elementary, but it's maybe important for new sellers. Live selling. If you're new in this reselling game, it can be super scary. It was super scary for me. I am an outgoing person. I am socially active. I talk to everybody. When I go into a store, I make sure the cashier speaks to me. When I go through a drive-thru, if somebody seems quiet, I force them to talk. I have no issues. I've said this before, but I've hung out with the lowest of the low, the down and out, and some famous people. And there's no difference other than one has money, one doesn't. But talking to people is not difficult to me. I'm blessed with that gift that comes from my parents, my upbringing. But I have a phobia. The only phobia I have, well, two, I'm claustrophobic. When these jerks get in these caves, and it always comes up on my algorithm in those tight spaces, oh my gosh. And I have to watch it because when I grew up, I had one of my childhood heroes, a few years older than me, was braver, stronger, and all that. He once said, I said, you're not scared of anything. And I'm 10 or 12, or probably 8 or 9. He's probably 12 or whatever. And he said, oh, I am scared, but I do it to conquer that fear. And I'm like, oh, so I do these things. I've always believed in that, trying to do stuff you're scared of to conquer fears. You shouldn't have fear in your life except for God above. So that being said, tight places, sorry, sidetrack, and public speaking, not being in public. I mean standing on the stage. I can go into a room in a group of people and I naturally will cut up. I don't think I'm trying to be the center of attention, but maybe that is some sort of psychological disorder. But I can speak to anybody that way. But if you put me on a stage, it could be my peers, and I get like claustrophobic, and I hate it because even that, like, there's been times I've called up, I knew I was going to speak, and I'm talking to myself like, quit being a sissy. And I use different language in my head, like, suck it up, breathe. And it still comes. I don't know what that is. It bothers me bad because you shouldn't be afraid of stuff. I hate fear whatsoever. But I say that to say this. Going live felt the same way. Even though I couldn't see anybody, the first time, I'll never forget it, was like Super Bowl Sunday, and I was going to do a comic show over on District, and I was petrified. I mean, I stood just trying not to hit that button. I wanted to hit it and scared to death, and I didn't sell a single comic. I don't even know if anyone came in the room. But, you know, subsequently I did another show, and then eventually it just fun. And then it helped to have compliments. People say, oh, you're really good at this, and then it gives you confidence. So never be afraid to give out a compliment because it builds confidence as well. I try to do that as well. I've seen people uncomfortable in shows and try to help them out the best I can. It's easy to do that anxiety of messing up, but you don't realize no one really cares. You could get somebody to comment something smart alecky, but even those people are more than likely just trying to be funny, trying to get attention for themselves like we all do, and it's not a big deal. So just relax. If you're struggling with something, just say, well, this is pretty tough, and make light of it, work through it. 99% of people are going to help you. So don't be afraid of that. We need more consumers on these live shows for sure. We tend to get the same group of resellers, and when you're selling to resellers, you're just going to get cheaper prices, which is fine. I am one, so I can speak to that because I am in that category. But we need to reach out and invite people to shop on these live platforms, whether it's Whatnot, District, TikTok, Facebook, or whatever it is, whatever live you do. We need to encourage people to buy. I don't do a good job at that as far as sending out coupons or codes to get the discounts. That stuff works, it matters. So just keep that in mind. The other side was eBay. My eBay is rolling, and I had mentioned before, and people laugh at this, I've been doing this a long time, my highest 90-day total year to date was like $9,000. My goal is to get to 12 before the fourth quarter, because that's a reasonable thing. Because with the live selling in my Facebook marketplace stuff and me just selling word of mouth, that would supplement my income. And I want to get where I'm 20,000 by Christmas. I think I should be able to do that. I think I can double at least a goal of 18 is really my goal. I'd like to see 20, but 18 is my goal. If I feel like if I get over that, it'd be great. I'd like to get 20. And then start pushing it that way and work the eBay, because I have not worked it. That's what I've said before, but people may not know. I've not worked my eBay like it was my job. I mean, I've done it like a hobby, and I mixed in live selling. So like last winter, I alluded to the fact that I was still working my old job. I wasn't doing anything with eBay and wasn't getting sales, one every 4 or 5 days, or, it was just pitiful. But once I started concentrating on it, it goes. So if you're new, my encouragement is stay with it. Stay consistent. I know that's so cliche, but it's so important. And it surprises me to this day. I had 2 Magnavox DVD VCR combos, one of my favorite things to sell. But they were smaller. I never comped them. I just bought them at a sale. I don't even know what I paid for them. Probably a couple bucks a piece. And they were sitting on a shelf. And my goal has been to list all my stuff that's been laying around. Like, list it all. Get it listed or get rid of it. And so I've been hammering down. I think I've done like 150 listings this weekend. But I picked those up and I listed them on eBay. Well, they seem smaller and more plastic than the bigger metal, real nice DVD VCR combos. But lo and behold, they comped high. I put them both at 73, 71 or something like that. 73, 47. 47 is my go-to. But within 20 minutes, both of them sold. So it just showed me, and that happened with some Legos, that happened with a Kohler faucet inset. It's an inset diverter for a fancy shower head, or faucets. And I listed that for $2 something, got an offer for $175 from a repeat buyer, and I took that offer. That thing's been sitting in the back of my truck for over a month. So get your stuff listed. Stay consistent. Trust the process. Try to buy high sell-through rate items. It's okay, in my opinion. I buy things I like, but you can't get overly emotional. You'll go broke buying vintage toys. It's a hard business right now. Not to say they don't hold their value, because much like glass, I don't mind buying glass because it's never going to go down in value, especially close to antique age, stuff that's from the 40s and stuff. You can keep that, and it's like art. So there's something to say about that. But don't get caught up with a bunch of stuff that's going to sit around, because you will regret it. It's so fun to buy. That's the easiest part. But stay consistent. Sorry, I keep biting my tongue. Problem with having an oversized tongue for the size of my mouth. Another reseller problem. But anyhow, I'm here at my storage building. I am getting this thing organized. I'm going to get these all down to 1 by the 4th quarter. I'm going to get my 3 storage buildings down to 1. My shed cleaned up. I'm going to be listing my tools I don't use and getting stuff gone. That's my goal. It feels so good to have more room to organize, more room to source wisely. So stay consistent and stay after it. That being said, it's a beautiful day. Go out there, talk to people, encourage someone, be positive. Don't let little things in life pull you down. Don't let people pull you down. Try to be good to everybody. Be a forgiver. And just remember, you catch more flies with sugar than you do with vinegar. So have a great day. Stay positive. Stay picking. And I don't know why it got dark. Stay rad.